Hello, you are welcome to Linear Stereo College class. So the topic that we have here is functions. And other functions, there are a lot of functions. We have different types of functions. We have composite functions, even and odd functions, periodic functions, transcendental functions, and so on. So, but the one that we're having here is under composite function. So here we'll be given f, and that f is a function of x. So f of x is equals to 2x squared minus 5, and g of x equals to 4x minus 2. So now the question here, the first question is we have to find f of 0. So now let's go to the solution. So the first question, we have to obtain f of 0. So now to obtain f of 0, what I need to do here is, you go back to the question. From the question, the value of f of x has been given to be 2x squared minus 5. So now this implies that f of 0 will be equals to 2 into 0 raised by 2 minus 5. So now, to obtain f of 0, we'll go back to f of x. From the question, f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 5. So now, we'll go to the f of x. Wherever we see x, we'll substitute 0. We'll put 0 wherever we see x in f of x. So now, f of 0 will now be equal to 2 into 0 squared minus 5. So 0 raised by 2, that one is 0 minus 5. 2 times 0 is 0 minus 5. 0 minus 5 is minus 5. So therefore, f of 0 is equals to minus 5. And the next question that we have here is f of g of 2, which can also be written as fog 2. So here we have the next one, f of g of 2, or it can also be written as fog 2. It's either you have it as f of g of 2 or fog 2. So now the first thing that we need to obtain here is g of 2, because that's the one inside the bracket. Using the law of Bodmas, you solve the one inside the bracket first before you now obtain f of g of 2. And to obtain g of 2, we'll go back to g of x. From the question, g of x is equals to 4x minus 2. This implies that g of 2 is equals to, wherever we see x in g of x, we put 2. So that will be 4 times 2 minus 2. 4 times 2 is 8 minus 2, that's 6. So now, if g of 2 is equals to 6, then, so we have, then, comma, f of g of 2 will be equals to f of 6, because the value of g of 2 is equals to 6. So now, this one will now take us to f of x, because here we have f of 6. So we'll now go back to f of x. And f of x is 2x squared minus 5. So now, wherever we see x in f of x, we'll put 6. So that will be 2 into 6 raised by 2 minus 5. So from there we have 2. 6 raised by 2, that's 36. So we have 2 into 36 minus 5. 2 times 36, that's 72 minus 5. So this one gives us 67. So that is f of g of 2. That is the answer. So now going to the next question. The third question there is g of minus 1. G of minus 1. And to obtain g of minus 1, so we'll go back to g of x. Recall that g of x is equals to 4x minus 2. So now if g of x is equals to 4x minus 2, then g of minus 1 will be equals to, anywhere we see x in g of x, we change it to minus 1. 4 times minus 1, that will give us minus 4. Then here we have minus 2. Minus 4 minus 2, that's minus 6. So therefore, g of minus 1 is equals to minus 6. And the next question that we have here is f of g of x. So that's the fourth question. To obtain f of g of x, which is the third question, we can also rewrite this one as fog x. So now when we see f of g of x is written as fog x, so it can also be written as that. So that is f of g of x. So f is a function of g of x. So now the first thing that we have here, the one that we have inside the brackets, is g of x. So we record that g of x is equals to 4x minus 2. So now, this implies that f of g of x is equals to f of 4x minus 2. So now, the one inside the bracket is g of x. and record that g of x is 4x minus 2. So that will now take us back to the question itself. So here we have f is standing outside there. So that means we'll go back to f of x. Whenever we see x in f of x, we change it to what? 4x minus 2. We're going to use 4x minus 2 to replace x in f of x. And from f of x, our f of x from the question is 2x squared minus 5. So f of x is 2x minus 5. So this is a constant, the coefficient of x squared. So we'll now write 4x minus 2 in bracket, we'll square it minus 5. So instead of writing this x, we'll put 4x minus 2. Then the power of this x is 2. So from here we have 2. We need to expand 4x minus 2 in two places. So here we have 4x minus 2 times 4x minus 2. So minus 5 is outside there. So from what we have, a 2 is here. 4x times 4x, that's 16x squared, minus 4x times minus 2, that's minus 8x, minus 2 times 4x, that's minus 8x, plus 4. Minus 5 is here. Okay. The next one. So the next step will now be, we'll collect the like terms. So here we have equals to 2 is outside there. 16x squared minus 16x plus 4 minus 5 outside there. So minus 8x minus 8x, that will give us minus 16x. We'll now use this 2 to expand it. That will be 32x squared minus 32x plus 8 minus 5. So these two can only expand everything that we have inside the bracket and not this minus 5. So here we have 32x squared minus 32x plus 8 minus 5. That will give us plus 3. So that is the answer to f of g of x. And the next one is, so question 5, we have g of x, which can also be written as g f of x. So what we have inside the bracket here is f of x, and recall that the value of f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 5 from the question, and g of x is equal to, that one is 4x minus 2. So now let's go to the question. G f of x will be equals to g in brackets. The value of f of x is 2x squared minus 5. Then this will be equals to, so since we have g here, g of 2x squared minus 5, so that will take us to g of x. Anywhere we see x in g of x, we change it to 2x squared minus 5. So here 4 is outside there. So we write 2x squared minus 5 inside the bracket minus 2. This one that's outside there. So the power of this x is 1, so we cannot expand this one, unlike the previous example. So this 4 will just expand it. That will be 8x squared minus 20 minus 2. So that will be 8x squared minus 22. So that is the value of g of x, that is g f of x. And the last question there is g f of 0. And to obtain g f of 0, we'll just go to f of x. So the last question there, question 6. So we have to obtain g f of 0. So the first thing that we need to obtain here is f of 0. And don't forget that f of x is equals to 2x squared minus 5. So if f of x is equals to 2x squared minus 5, and the question says we should obtain g f of 0, so we need to obtain the value of f of 0 first. That will be from f of x. So to obtain f of 0, we'll go to f of x. Wherever we see x, we change it to 0. So this one gives us 0 minus 5. That's minus 5. So f of 0 is equals to minus 5. And this implies that g f of 0 is equals to g of minus 5 is equals to, so this one will take us to g of x. So recall that g of x is equals to 4x minus 2. So whenever we see x in g of x, we change it to minus 5. So that will be minus 5 minus 2. So 4 times minus 5, that's minus 20, minus 2, that's minus 22. So now the value of g f of 0 is equals to minus 22. Thank you so much. Kindly drop your comments, your questions, then subscribe.